And we also prepared for some information on the categories for you. So if you feel like that and you're not very tired yet, we can continue on with that. I think this is the fun part, because you will see videos and example runs and things like that. So I think it's not that stressful like having these two guys here and just talking to you. So if you think we can continue, it's okay.
I would anyhow take it to a speed then, because we are getting more and more into the afternoon. So generally the first part, I think I talked a lot about this is our mission. I think we will also try to use somehow the opportunity to just show you around the elementary field, and you will get some kind of basic understanding of what is there, why it's fun. Generally you use kind of any Lego bricks there, so Lego intelligent hubs that is programmable. You have 2 or 3 kids in the team, and actually there are 3 age categories, small ones, junior ones and senior ones, and basically you have a kind of standard size robots.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
About the technically the allowed units. So apart from the technical part, there is also like software thing. Technically, Lego can be like fully reset onto Linux operating system. You can actually put it in. You can use normal programming language instead of Scratch or like that code. Is it allowed, or it's not even prescribed in the rules?
I love the question. So similarly to wherever the world is going, I'm really happy that it's a totally free choice on whatever programming language code you are using. You can even go to assembly and do whatever there, or use any alternative firmwares.
And the other part is it like customary, or it's a mandatory of using exactly one piece of Lego computer, or we can combine like few of these?
No. The generic rule is, and that's for really the sustainability thing, not to make it totally unfair for different teams. Use only one hub, use a limited set of motors, but generally there is one exception. So with Italix you see this friendship starter. There we are also allowing also Vidu. And I'm not sure about the Spike Essential by heart, but especially for Vidu, it's always allowed to use as many hubs, as many motors as you like. And in the past, kids heavily relied on that and connected to 2 or 3 hubs and motors. Can get quite complex. But generally, most of the part we are trying to have a standard and quite okay set that is allowing the very same thing for each teams. Round time, on contrary to the first Lego League here, it's only 2 minutes, so 120 seconds. Typically it's enough, and even teams on an international level many times achieve all the points, and they do the real competition on how fast they can achieve the maximum points. And that's really, from engineering perspective, really cool. So most of the time, and this is where also in Latvia we are starting the WRO Robo mission, is like the entry, and this is where in one afternoon you can embark any teams, any kids from the age of, I would say, 6 or 5. I started from that point with my daughter and some of her friends, and continue up to 19. So it's spanning quite a wide age range. And also depending on the kids around you and your personal preference, because I know that these kids can behave totally differently. Okay, here we have some videos. I would skip that, and I would After this, invite you to the elementary table and let's touch the Lego bricks and see things, because I think you have enough of talking, so let's cut this part short. But also here you do see some very cool robot arms. They're also available in the YouTube. So special rules that we like, there's randomization, I already covered that. On bigger competitions where you have bigger teams, we typically take this to a 2-day competition. Also introducing some surprise rules that are never ever written in the original rulebook. And we add it and kids need to adopt. And just imagine how fun that is. That of course we are not changing the complete table, but just imagine if on first Lego League table you would just switch one model to the opposite side and you would say to the kids that okay, you have like 90 minutes and solve it. Reprogram what is there. Actually that's really the engineering level that we want to reach later on. Yeah, typically it's kids only. So coaches are remotely like cheering, maybe providing food, but not directly interacting. And similarly to similar other competitions, I guess we are focusing on autonomous robots, so no communication with the kids. Yeah, future innovator.
Let me cover that.
Yeah, Tamás really loves that. I also coach their teams. Tamás is really keen on that.
The same age groups you can involve. There's a trick here because we usually announce these competitions in English. So we ask even the elementary teams to prepare for English presentation and English documentation. How normally it is done, it's the same thing, 2 to 3 kids in a team. So it's the same idea than with Robo Mission. There's no limit to the control units. So I've seen last year's Hungarian competition that were like 10 EV3 blocks were linked together into like a combined control unit. That was like, whoa, but it didn't do the thing. So usually what I say here and what I suggest that keep it simple and really design it for the purpose with the least amount of parts and things. Don't overcomplicate things. Focus on small ideas. Don't want to change the word. But still, there are teams that believe that they can change the word, so that's completely fine. They can use any type of software, any type of programming. They can combine microcontrollers. They can use any communication and any programming language on anything. So you can absolutely freely combine these kind of things. The presentation is like it happens in like a 2x2 meter booth. It's just like an exhibition, basically. So you not only have to think of the robotic solution or like a demonstration table, but you also need to think of how you decorate your booth. What is the best way to inform the judges, because it will happen by judges, and that's where subjectivity comes into WRO, because obviously these kind of things cannot be measured only by achieved points. So we have like 2 rounds at least, in bigger competitions even more rounds of judging. So that's how we try to take out subjectivity out of this. There's a very nicely and precisely written down criteria list and points awarded to that. Personally, I can tell you, because I judged a lot both competitions, that it's a lot better than the current FLL judging scheme for the project. I like the previous judging scheme for FLL, but I just simply cannot handle this thing, because it's not focusing on the things that you have to achieve and have to measure by the kids. But with WRO, the metrics is very, very precise. It gives you a very good understanding, especially from the coaching standpoint, and if you're reading the metrics for WRO Future Innovators, that what exactly is expected. So if you go through the scoring sheet, you will understand exactly that how much engineering you have to put into that, how you have to prove it, how you have to present it, what is the success factor and what is the success criteria. So it's a very, very handy, very, very good tool for the coaches to understand that how to prepare the kids. The project presentation is like 5 minutes, and then the question and answers, and then the judges have like 5 minutes to think the whole thing over and make the scoring basically right away. So in 15 minutes slots, we have the teams. The criteria for getting into the international finals is kind of like the same as with the Robo mission, with one difference, that if you have a low number of teams or lower number of teams, you combine the age group categories on a national level. So if you have like 10 or 15 teams, I guess until you're not reaching like 24 teams, so 20, you only can qualify one team, and the national organizer actually can select that from what age group they are qualifying to the international final. Very important point that the jury, the judges, will evaluate even prior the event, the performance, and for that you need to provide the judges prior to the competition a small video. It's like a 30 seconds, very brief video of the innovative solution. I saw homemade videos, kids with mobile phones. So don't think of TV studios involved in everything. So you don't need that. And famous American directors, you don't need that. It's really homemade videos by the kids, but it can be very, very powerful. And also short documentation of the project. So it judges and measures basically oral, written, and also some media readiness and preparedness also. May I, if this starts, just a short.
In der Kategorie Future Innovators entwickelt ihr ein innovatives und kreatives Robotermodell zur Lösung realer Probleme in der Welt. Euer Modell soll dabei zum Thema der Saison passen, welches jedes Jahr wechselt und oft in Verbindung mit den UN-Zielen für nachhaltige Entwicklung steht. Dabei sucht ihr euch ein Teilgebiet des Saisonthemas heraus, entwickelt ein Robotermodell dazu und präsentiert es beim Wettbewerb vor einer Fachjury. Euer Robotermodell dürft ihr aus beliebigen Materialien zusammenbauen und die Software zur Programmierung frei wählen. Es darf maximal 2x2x2 Meter groß sein. Zusätzlich müsst ihr ein Plakat und eine schriftliche Dokumentation über euer Projekt anfertigen und mit zum Wettbewerb bringen. Am Wettbewerbstag stellt ihr euer Robotermodell dann der Jury vor. Ihr werdet von mindestens 2 verschiedenen Jurygruppen bewertet. Zuerst habt ihr 5 Minuten Zeit, euer Projekt zu präsentieren. Anschließend darf euch die Jury 5 Minuten lang Fragen stellen. Zur Bewertung füllt jedes Jurymitglied einen Bewertungsbogen aus, welcher euer Team in den Rubriken Projekte und Innovation, Roboterlösung und Präsentation und Teamwork bewertet. In jeder Rubrik werden Punkte vergeben. Das Team mit der höchsten Gesamtpunktzahl gewinnt den Wettbewerb. Neben den Gewinnerteams gibt es aber auch Sonderpreise, zum Beispiel den Team Award, welchen die Teams am Wettbewerbstag selbst entscheiden. Wenn ihr zu den besten Teams beim Regionalwettbewerb gehört, qualifiziert ihr euch für das Deutschlandfinale. Dort ist dann eine Weiterqualifikation zum internationalen Weltfinale möglich.
Yeah, I think from here on it's more like just repeating what I said, only in German. Yeah, sports?
Should we?
Oh well, I've already said some words of that, so
Okay. Let's be really quick on that. So generally with WRO we have 4 legs, so 4 different competitions. The 2 most popular we already covered. We have one urban sports that is a very interesting technical sports. Here you do have a tennis field where some ping pong balls are juggled between the 2 parts of the table. Actually here very, very advanced teams are coming. Let's have okay, I will certainly not understand that.
Your browser has been updated.
You
Okay.
should choose one of those, no? One of the browsers.
Let's try it. Okay, let's not spend time on that. So generally, you see 2 and 2 robots competing on the small tennis field, and they try to move the balls to the other side of the competition table. Here we have much stricter rules. So typically the age group 11-ish, but typically bigger kids come here.
probably one thing that some teams actually are using you can use cameras to detect the balls, and it's allowed. So it's addition to the normal Lego setup, because we said that it's a Lego based competition, but that add-on is approved and okay. But
What type of add-on is that? Just a camera, some
Yeah, pixie camera.
and like detecting the balls.
anything basically what you can connect to the hub.
Yep.
Anything sounds.
So it's actually these categories are more to the open side, so allowing more and more advanced things. Typically there are very, very good small cameras that already has quite nice built-in AI or machine learning logic. So typically for kids who find that Urban Mission, FLL Challenge, Future Innovators, it's boring, and we want to do it on a more advanced level, maybe on the university level. These 2 competitions are there. And the second one we wanted to mention, Future Engineers. Here you have a much simpler looking table, but here again you need to have a vehicle. That vehicle needs to somehow detect colors and detect these beams, and based on the colors of the beams, they are also randomized. The car should do 3 rounds, actually going around the columns in the possible or the adhering model, and also this part, so this inner wall is also randomly moved before the competition starts, so you cannot even rely on as a pre-programmed logic on what is the exact field setup. So here we are relying more and more on advanced robotics, and I always tell to the kids, whichever competition, so even with FLL Explore, I always tell to the kid that, hey, we are preparing you for something that maybe in 10 years, in 20 years, you can create a Mars rover, and you must program it and design it in a way that it will cost a fortune to put it on the surface of Mars, and it must perform perfectly, so you will not have the ability to remote control it. You will not have the ability to reset it into the base and restart things. So it must work for the very first try in any harsh condition. And actually this feature engineer mimics that even better. Again, way bigger kits, typically way more advanced things. Okay. Yeah, and typically there are year by year some rule modifications, especially in these two very technical categories. But I think for this seminar, I think it's not the main focus of that. Okay, that would conclude our part.